What is up, everybody? Here we are going to look at the long-range forecasts. Yeah, there's nothing really currently except for some fire and some very bad fire weather in Virginia and some winter alerts and, really fun Rocky Mountain country and blizzard and, yeah, nothing really major here today. So we're going to be diving into the long range. So as of right now, this is 6 hours, so this is gonna be like 1 a.m. Tomorrow, or just take that back for like each area. I mean, it might be, different, but as you can see, a 993 low pressure system is over, I want to say, Quebec and Ontario, and this is bringing some snow into the northeast and in some rain near Ontario. By the time we get later, as we want to get later into the day, maybe around the 18 hours from now, as you can see, this has developed into pure snow showers. And this is positioned well over Quebec now, and it's bringing some scattered snow showers to just basically the northern, northeast, the interior, northeast, whatever you want to call it. By the time we hit the 21st, things are going to ramp up in activity. As you can see, this starts moving along, kind of like starts moving and curving. This becomes way more developed. And I think that it's a 996 low pressure. And so we have some low pressure forming, and you can see that's the beginning of a new storm, though, right along the jet stream. By the time we get later into the 21st, as you can see, this develops into a not like a sub-northeast, and this is a 994 low, but just positioned over the main coast. By the time we get to the 22nd, things have blown up. This thing is blown up into a 989, consisting of snow showers that will scatter over New England, but mainly into Canada. So if you live in like Nova Scotia, those areas, we don't really cover those areas here on the channel, but we will generally cover them as they're close to the United States. You're gonna get slammed with snow. However, because we can see we have two things. One, probably something, I do not know what's going on here, but because this does not have low pressure, but this looks like some heavy rainfall, some severe weather, maybe. And then some low situated over these areas. It might be just because of the cold front. This is propelling wind. This might turn into a derecho later on. But as you can see, snow and scattered wind showers for the Rockies up into the Midwestern states. By the time we move into the 23rd here, this looks bad. As you can see, this is that weird storm I was talking about earlier developed into its own low pressure system, bringing heavy thunderstorms to Florida. And then, however, this has merged with that low, causing a strong low, causing it basically to rip across the whole eastern. Moving later into that day, you can see heavy rain and snow showers. We can also see some lighter rain, snow showers along just the west coast here. So freezing rain, snow, rain, freezing rain, did I already say rain? Rain, freezing rain, snow, all on the table here for the 23rd. By the time we move into, I believe, let's move to the 24th here. This has become a defined nor'easter. As you can see, snow and rain moving along here. And this looks like a central low. Meanwhile, another storm with a 992 is brewing over here in the west in the Rockies. This jet stream looks very active. As you can see, very, very strong definitive jet stream that looks like to stick around for a while. As you can see, it's this kind of jet stream where we'll see cold in the Midwest and Northeast and warmth pretty much dominating the rest of the country. Anyways, by the time we hit the 25th, this starts becoming a massive boy. This is probably 988, I believe, and this is 999 off the coast. Nope, I mean, unless if you live in that really tiny portion of Florida, then you're not gonna see much from this. However, this does look like to become a possibly hurricane or something. So maybe Nova Scotia might watch out for this. I've never seen it develop this far though. That would be rare. It might be though. That kind of looks like a hurricane. Anyways, this looks like a pretty bad snow, freezing rain, all coming into play here and looking like a big storm to be aware of. By the time we hit the 26th, this has came up into a massive storm. We'll have an ex-tropical cyclone re-impact like those areas. It might. I think what happened was it went through the northeast, back around, going this, and then kind of like that. As you can see, 994 low pressure center over Wisconsin, and this is bringing. If you live even like 1 mile above this low center, you can get snow. But if you live 1 mile below, you're gonna get rain. So, yeah. By the time we hit the 27th, this is the other models were calling for the storm to go right into the north, but it looks like the jet stream is shifted into a more of an omega block pattern, and this is where the warm really starts to take into the ridge on the east, and this storm just gets shot north, as you can see. Bringing along, though, some severe weather, as we can see. That is some severe weather. While another low is redeveloping near the north. And this will eventually rip through, however, creating its own system. It literally just broke off from the other system and is now creating some snow and rain showers for the area. By the time we move to the 29th, this looks like this would be a multi-day severe weather outbreaks, which we probably, I hope, will be covering on the channel. As this moves, though, you can see the cold kind of comes back into the northeast. And this is where we get concerned. As you can see right now, that develops into a nor'easter and covers New England. We're not concerned about that. We're concerned about this storm right here. This storm, with a 993 over Nebraska, is pretty concerning. Because by the time we move into the 30th, this thing looks like it could be some severe weather. Also, some storms in the Rockies, and living in northern Maine, you can see some snow. But this looks like a bad storm. By the time we move into the 31st, as you can see, this brings some snow and rain showers. Yesterday, the confidence on the models was really high, apparently. So, yeah, that's probably why it wasn't supposed to be like that. But this does kind of develop, though, and, work its way up. And then, as you can see, as they leave the coast here, they often strengthen. However, this is the storm. The April 2nd. This is way far out here, so I take this would be a good storm. But look at this. A 985 beast. Warm to give it strength. And it's riding along the jet stream. This eventually becomes a 983. I would see severe weather here in these areas could be severe weather. That's heavy snow. That becomes 986 and then 989. That is really bad for severe weather. That could be very life-threatening. And this moves along, eventually becoming a 972. A 972. Before that, that's probably around a Category 2 hurricane. And that's not good at all. By the time we get to the April 5th here, and you can see this is a very strong low. The models yesterday had way more confidence in this shooting into the northeast, but it looks like they're saying it's going to go northern. So yeah, that's basically the end of this. The final frame on the model here shows another low developing. Now this can bring anything, and this low out into the east here. So who knows what to expect in this areas here. Diving into and we're now going to dive into the temperature forecast, I believe we can dive into, I think. Trying to find the temperature of the model there. Yeah, we're going to have to go to Ensemble. EPS. Okay, there we go. So this is right now. Let me go to the 00 mark. Deep cold trough living in a massive ridge. However, you can see a trough coming in. This is gonna be the end of that cold system. As it bails down, the 21st will probably be the worst, the worst for cold. As you can see, we have temperatures that could be around 20 degrees below average. So like highs in teens, possibly single digits, as this is probably the coldest part of the Northeast and coldest part of the contiguous U.S., except for the Rocky Mountains, of course. This warmth starts to dissipate, and after this cold works its way through, we have a mild block of warm air in the region. Now you think this is just mild, and then we have some cold over Florida, but then yeah, you might think, oh, it's just mild. However, it comes in and completely sets up a huge ridge, bringing a cold trough into this. You can see the jet stream kind of curving around the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region. So this is bad. But this warm eventually fizzles out. However, it has to battle the cold air, and that's where I'm concerned that we can get severe weather. The 26th here, this looks like a very good setup here for some severe weather as cold and warm air clashing. Maybe even a tiny bit earlier than that. This is where the warmth and the cold reach their peak. Okay. Then, as you can see, by the time that's ended, we just get a mild cold block over by the 29th. And then this cold block is gone. And bringing along with some mild warm air, but with a mild cold air. So this looks kind of like a very iffy pattern here. I don't really, like, the jet stream's going to be wild. So, I wouldn't expect much. This is basically just the same thing. So let's go to GEFS. This can go longer, I believe, down to 330. So let's go to the 00 mark, and we can see that this is particularly slightly different to the cold. As you can see, it's starting to say the warmth's going to be bigger, and this kind of says the exact same thing as they are. But then this has a more wild outbreak. As you can see, this looks more wild. It kind of looks like the cold is going to come back in and boom. This gets even stronger. And this cold bubble slightly more to the east for some reason. And this battles it out, and this is even smaller, which actually dissipates before getting to the end of the country. However, then as look at this, we can see more cold in that area, which will push up warmth into that area there. So the GEPS here, this one can go all the way to 384. So this will be actually like, you know. So looking at this, you can see cold over these areas, and it's pretty slightly different. It's kind of like more easternly. And then that will move. It's saying the same thing, but then this warm block moves in and basically saying the same thing. And then this cold area here kind of battles with the warm air, it kind of looks like. But by the time it does that, it's a baby cold blob, maybe about 3 degrees below average, which eventually just simmers out. Then it looks like we'll start to go into a La Nina area here. Hear me out. Warmth across the south, we see those in La Ninas, and cold starting to go into the northwest. This could signal something. And some warmth develops over the Midwest and becomes like a line. This battle, it seems like the cold and the warm battle, but eventually the cold winning out the battle and forcing and then you can see more cold developing over the north, which could facilitate, you know, southern you know. Looking at the weekly patterns, we're just gonna go to the weekly. In week 1, as you can see, cold over the north, but warmth starts to develop and that warmth area starts to go. Week 2, by the time this looks bad, like really, like worse than the other ones say, possibly even 12 degrees above average or even higher, which is like 45. So this could be like temperatures into the 50s and 60s, and cold, you know. And then week 3, looks like the warmth simmers out here and some cold bubble starts making its way across the country. By the time it hits week 4, this kind of moved across the country already, and warmth is sitting into the north before kind of merging into the west and creating a ridge, before merging into the east and creating a trough for these areas. Looking at the monthly pattern, we're going to go April. So April here. Looking at April, for average April areas here, you can see warmth across the northern areas of the west and cold nowhere, and neutral temperatures basically around these eastern, mid-Atlantic, southeastern, and southern areas. So going to May, this looks warmth across the country for some reason. Warmth across the country. June is literally the same thing. However, I would not trust this. This is definitely not what we're gonna expect. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, sure, this cold is dipping, but there is no way we're gonna see this. All right, don't get scared, because that is not gonna happen. Okay, so March, average March, we'll have some warm in the northeast and cold, like, you know, in those areas. We're gonna have some warmth and cold, and then these are colder areas here. As you can see, May looks like it will be colder for the summer before getting warm again for those areas, and this warm basically takes over the country. However, then this looks very averaged out. Maybe to September, I would not say, because this looks very averaged out. There's no way the whole country is going to be neutral. Except for a little cold bubble that could develop, but does. Okay. Then November, yeah, it doesn't develop. And then this just does not look like an actual pattern here. There's no way the jet stream's going to do that. There's no way the jet stream's going to flow straight across the country. So, yeah. So, yep, that's going to wrap up the video, everyone. Please consider subscribing. We hope you have a wonderful day. And, I guess please consider liking, too. I guess I don't care what you do. Just try to subscribe. And, yeah, have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everyone. See you next video, probably sometime either later tonight or, Friday, actually. So, bye.